biggest thing I love about this arc so far is that Oda's making us go back, reread the story, find out like these little tiny details, that he's sprinkled in all throughout. Like, I'm going to be talking about, reviewing the whole chapter, but one of the biggest moments is that Kuma stuff and all the stuff with Bonney. Yeah, it's gonna be kind of a long review because gonna be focusing quite a bit on that. So, all right, let's just get into it. So, chapter 908, the reverie begins. So the cover page this week, I thought we'd be done, with the Orlumbus stuff, but we still have Orlumbus. He's taking notes, all that stuff, like kind of planning out his pirate schedule, which is again, it's funny, but yeah, This is the first time that I was like really like, okay, Orlumbus, like we get it, like all the other Orlumbus stuff I liked, but I was like, let's just get right into the chapter. So the beginning parts of the chapter, we have Mancherry kind of coming into the mix and everything. Everybody's like, meeting, all that stuff, and we have Moisgard. He's talking about how if he's going to protect, Shirahoshi, no matter what, she's not going to let anything happen to Princess, and he basically gives the okay to Leo and everybody else. Like, if you want to go and fight, dude. Like, just let loose, and like I'll take the blame. I'll be a real G, take the blame, and that's pretty dope. I really want Moisgard to be like just a protagonist. I don't want him to like double cross or anything like that. And I feel like the way that they're laying it out, Oda is kind of setting it up with the mention of Charlos's dad, how he said that both Moisgard and Don Quixote homing, the Don Quixote family is weird that they don't have any slaves. And like, he wouldn't just say that, just to say it for like his plan. He's saying it as like, yeah, like Moisgard is just like a weird guy. So like, I don't think it is Moisgard's plan, to try to trick everybody and blah blah. I think he actually is a good guy, and I think it would be cool. It would suck so hard if Moisgard does like a flip. Last chapter elevated Otahime's character like even more so than it already was. So it would like bring it back down, which Otahime would still be a cool character, but it would just suck. So yeah. Anyway, that was kind of cool. But the big thing that I took away, one of the big things I took away from that page, is when we have Pell come in, and he's talking to Vivi. He's like, yeah, like your dad got a letter from, Admiral Fujitora, and Fujitora, Cobra, and King Riku. They're all talking. They're having like a meeting right now, and that's obviously going to talk about the Shichibukai. We know that Fujitora, obviously he wants to get rid of that system. Cobra and Riku, they were negatively affected by that system. And I think that Cobra and Riku are going to be the ones who, during the actual revelry discussion, they're going to be the ones who stand out and are like, okay, like, now that we're done, like, praising Luffy, let's talk about how the Shichibukai should just get out of here. We don't need that shit anymore. So, that's going to be cool to see, which we'll probably get that in the next upcoming chapter. But, so now, this is where the chapter gets, like, really, really interesting. So, we have, at the front of the gates at Pangaea Castle, we have a bunch of guards. We have this old woman come up, the Queen of Sorbet Kingdom, Dewagner Connie. I looked up what Dewagner means on, trusty Google. Dewagner is a widow who holds a title or property derived from her husband or her deceased husband. As an adjective, Dewagner usually appears in association with a monarchical or aristocratic titles. So, my stuttering aside, I think that this is very, very interesting, because we then see Charles's dad. He's riding Kuma. He is riding Bartholomew Kuma. It's not a pacifist or anything like that. It's actually Kuma, and This man's talking about how he, he can rent this slave. Like, it was finally my turn to rent him again. And we see Kuma. He's crawling on all fours. He's got the, it looks like the slave attire or something, like some sort of celestial dragon type, slave like outfit, something. But he's got, he's chained up. His eye is still like kind of messed up from when he protected like the ship on the Thousand Sunny on Sabaody, and got all these swords in him. And I think those are the swords from Sabaody, but they could have been just like, the celestial dragons being like just, complete wimps and just being like, yeah, like let's stab them, all this stuff. But the big thing besides that is we see that, we see the little introduction line by Oda, Warlord of the Sea, former executive of the Revolutionary Army, and also the former king of the Sorbet Kingdom. So, we have that, and then we have Connie, who she ran through the gate, and she's like, I can't believe I ran into him so soon, and she turns into Jewelry Bonney. The Bay. One of the 11 supernova. So, Jewelry Bonney, out of all the supernova, she's probably been the one who has the most mystery around her. Is Bonney the queen of the Sorbet Kingdom? Is Bonney married to Kuma? Is Bonney the daughter of Kuma? Is she impersonating the queen? Who knows? I think we're definitely going to get the answer to that in this arc. So based on the definition of De Wagner, it has to be a widow. So can't be the daughter thing. And man, what's weird is her age. How old actually is Bonney? Is she doing like a Tsunade thing from Naruto where she's just like making herself look kind of young, like that's in her prime, that kind of thing, and she actually is like, a lot older? Is there a new king of the Sorbet Kingdom, who that she is, was married to or something like that? Man, okay. If we go back in an SBS, Oda drew the supernova as kids. All right, so we see Bonney. She's like eating a lot, a lot of like really well prepared food. It looks like, but she's also has like kind of dirt marks on her, and looks kind of messed up. Maybe she married into the royal family of the Sorbet Kingdom, and yeah, is married Kuma. The other thing I was thinking is we see Bonney's ship during Marineford, and we see that it has a kind of like dessert type theme to it, which led a lot of people, including myself, to kind of speculate that Bonney is a daughter of Big Mom. Bonnie's color palette, her hair being pink, and a lot of the Big Mom pirates having that kind of pink, that pink color design with them. So it kind of looks like a cake on her ship, but it could also be like an ice cream cone, which like sorbet ice cream, kind of like in the same realm. Another weird thing is that she was crying so much for Whitebeard's death, for Ace's death, and when she was she was chained up by Blackbeard, and then this is all in chapter, or this part specifically is in chapter 595. See, this is what Oda makes you do. Oda makes you, in these chapters, he's making you go back and reread certain parts of the story. He's like, okay, like, do you remember all this stuff? You remember? And I'm like, yeah, Oda, I remember, but I'm just going to double check. I want to check my facts. Chapter 595, Blackbeard captures Bonney. Then they see that Aka Inu is coming towards the island where Bonnie's captured. Blackbeard runs away. Aka Inu comes on the island. He's talking to Bonney. He says, when I heard that you had fled the government, a chill went down my spine. But that is all over now. And then Bonney, in retaliation, she's screaming, "You people! I'll never forgive you! Never!" Is that maybe the government did something to the Sorbet kingdom? Maybe Akainu, he kind of like led the charge, like kind of, bomb it in retaliation to the Sorbet kingdom's king becoming a member of the Revolutionary Army. Which then led me to think that the reason why Bonney would feel so much sympathy and sadness for when Whitebeard died was maybe when Kuma, left the country, Whitebeard came in and was like, "Yeah, I'll protect this place. Like this place is protected by me," similar to Fishman Island. So maybe that's where Bonney has since she loves Sorbet Kingdom so much, she loves her king so much, obviously because she's infiltrating Mary Joa to rescue him. Maybe that leads to her appreciation for Whitebeard. Kuma's name, the Tyrant Kuma. And it was always weird because we saw him with a Bible, and it was kind of like a weird contrast of a tyrant and then reading a Bible, that kind of thing. And he's very calm, he's never like outlandish or saying anything like that. He's like very quiet to himself. And the next page, we see that underground we have Karasu, Sabo, Morley, and Lindbergh. And Sabo's super pissed. He's talking about how one of our comrades is up there, just like a slave being just ridiculed, and he calls him the gentle Kuma, which made me think that maybe the government called him a tyrant to try to discredit Kuma, as him becoming a Revolutionary Army, seeing that on his wanted poster, seeing a name like Tyrant, maybe people wouldn't want to go around and follow him. Like we saw that the revolutionaries go to island and kind of, inspire people. So maybe if they saw, the Tyrant, they would be all like scared, and that would cause less people to want to join the Revolutionary Army. That's just one reason why he could have been the Tyrant, or that given that name. So they're Sabo, Karasu, Morley, and Lindbergh. They're all down this little tunnel that Morley built, and they're discussing how their mission is to rescue Kuma. And Lindbergh brings up the fact that the government, the world government, the Celestial Dragons, they wanted to make a message. They wanted to send a message to the entire world by making an example out of Kuma, a former king, that this is what happens when you defy the gods. We're going to turn you into a slave, turn you into a mindless creature, just turn you into, a shell, basically, that you were. So this really pisses off, Sabo. It probably has pissed off everybody. And, Lindbergh is saying that, we got to be careful because they have the world government is here, the Marines, CP0. If we get caught, everything will be ruined. And Sabo's like, no. We only have two options here, success or death. Which, I mean, dude, unless you're talking about killing yourself, if you guys get caught, if you're caught, they're just going to make you slaves, all right? Unless you're trying to go out in a, blaze of glory, no pun intended, with the flame fruit. What I found interesting there too was the lack of dragon. In chapter 905, when Neptune and Stelly and everybody, they're going up the red line to Mary Joa. We see the crows fly in. Stelly says that he just saw a giant in the mountain, and then we see Sabo in his in that guard's gear and stuff like that. And we talk about that Stelly mentions that there was a strong breeze, and that led a lot of people, including myself again, thinking that, okay, that's Dragon. But now we don't even see Dragon. So is Dragon, is he even there right now? Or is he kind of like going behind the scenes, like doing his own little thing, doing his own little infiltration? Unsure. I would think that it's the latter, that he's kind of doing his own little infiltration. That it's his job to declare war, while it's Sabo and everybody else's job to rescue Kuma. So then now we get to the point where it's the actual like meeting of the kings, the leaders of the countries, the actual reverie. And so every reverie that's held every 4 years, there's a chairman who kind of leads it. I thought it was going to be like the Gorosei are going to come in and kind of lead it, and they still might, but there's a chair. But it seems like that there definitely is a chairman who just like he's running it, and that's none other than Abe Big Mac Hamburger. And we see like some other like kings and stuff. We see King Riku. We see a guy who like has this crazy mustache thing, but his cap is like like almost like the flag of Great Britain. And then we also Oda like drew Hitler. Like he just straight up drew Adolf Hitler. He's got the little postage postmark postage stamp mustache there, and so they're all talking about they want to discuss the matters of this beautiful world. All right, we get that. So next chapter, I'm sure that we're going to get all the kings just like kind of going back and forth and discussing stuff. So now we get to the Gorosei, and the Gorosei have finally left their little room. All right, and wearing their coats, they're looking clean, walking out, and they're talking about how we shouldn't trust the Nefertari family. They're one of the original kings. They want to meet with us about like during the conference, and they're kind of like talking about like Luffy and stuff, like kind of like the waves of disturbance that he's causing. And then we have Gandhi Gorosei, who's talking about how the balance of this world, it cannot be maintained forever. And he is calling for a great cleansing, which is very weird, kind of scary, and I don't know if he's going to talk about like a whole kingdom, a whole like race of people. If they wanted to go out and kill pirates, then they would have done so. Like they're probably it's going to be killing like, I don't know, like civilians, but I don't know how that would like maintain balance. Maybe kill off like I don't know, setting examples by killing off like somewhat big name pirate crews, but not like any Yonko or Golko like level. I don't know, that was weird. And then again, Oda gives us an ending of the chapter that's just like confusing, hype. It's just crazy. We're in the flower room, and we see the silhouette figure that we saw at the end of chapter 906. And we learn that their name is Im or I'm. And we have like a servant. They're like, I'm Sama. Everyone's here. Everyone's arrived. And they're like just kind of standing like a few feet away from a sword in the ground. And we cut to the sword being stabbed through a picture of Shirahoshi. And we also see the wanted posters of Luffy and Blackbeard, which lead me to believe that the wanted poster in 906 behind Luffy was Blackbeard's. So, and he could have they could have Im Sama could have also been holding the picture of Shirahoshi, and we also see they're holding a picture of Vivi. So then we cut to the empty throne, and Im Sama's walking up the steps, and and the Gorosei are at the base of the throne room, and they're all like bending the knee, and we see that Im-sama takes a seat on the empty throne. And the Gorosei, that we're here before you. Who do you want us to kill? Give us a name. And Isama kind of like is doing like one of these eyes, and a lot of people have been pointing out the similarity of the eyes with Mihawk and stuff like that. So I'm not sure if that's gonna be something of like that much of relevance that the eyes look like Mihawk. But anyway, so the name. Who is the name that Im-sama is saying? Maybe Luffy. I think it's either Luffy or Vivi. Based on, we see that the person they're actually holding Vivi's picture, and they kind of have that thought bubble of like that ellipses. Maybe like they're muttering to themselves, or that they're just like thinking. So Vivi's a strong possibility. But we also have Luffy, because in 906 we see that straw hat, which there was a theory, and I brought this up in my live reaction, that Luffy's straw hat, that little that giant straw hat that we saw, maybe that was like a portal type thing of like, who is the most threatening, who is the biggest threat to the celestial dragons, the world government, just peace itself, peace in their eyes. And we saw that straw hat, so that's a symbol of Luffy, and that's why like they were holding the hat, the poster, all that stuff. That could be a possibility, but I think based on the way that they're holding that picture, it's definitely Vivi. And yeah, this is just like really shocking. I wonder why Vivi. Maybe that she's been like kind of outspoken. She's been doing some stuff in the world, maybe to set an example to the Nefertari family, that like they see that King Cobra is like pretty sick and to die. So the next in line, Vivi, like if they send a message by that, like he might know the Void Sentry, all that stuff. There's so much, and man, these chapters have been amazing. Yeah, I love this chapter. It was just, I love going back and rereading One Piece. Yeah, what do you guys think down in the comments down below? First, do you guys think, what do you think that Bonnie's relationship is to Kuma, and who do you think that person is that that Im-sama is gonna like tell the Gorosei to kill? Yeah, unfortunately we're on break next week, which just sucks because these chapters have just been amazing. Yeah, and I just love reading One Piece. But who doesn't, So, yeah. So, like I said, comment down below. Like this video if you guys like the video. Dislike it if you dislike it. Subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be talking a lot of One Piece. There's so much to speculate and theorize about. But, yeah. Thank you guys for watching.